Hey Techno Studs. In this video, I'm going to introduce a topic that you're going to see throughout the rest of this course. Many of my modules are going to have an application video at the end of it or somewhere in the module. And that is where I'm going to show you how you actually apply the knowledge that you're learning. Because it's one thing to actually learn the concepts and understand how to do IP addressing and subnetting and VLSM. It's a whole nother thing to what does it actually mean when you get into the outside world, the real world, actually applying it. So this is going to be, once again, just kind of a setup video talking about how do we take this information and apply it now to what we'd see out there. Here's the network of a company that we are the network engineer for. And one of our jobs is to assign IP addresses and ranges to these different networks on here. So there's a couple things that we're gonna cover. This is gonna be a pretty short video, but we're gonna build off of this in future modules. One thing to understand here, that all of this is a corporate network that we're gonna be managing. And so we have this network that we're gonna have to manage. But within this network, there's a lot of networks. So what I mean by that is you could consider each one of these branches right here a network of machines that's delivering services to a lot of endpoints. And you see the number of endpoints here. So this has 134, this has 45, this has 98, this has 758. So each one of these has a bunch of endpoints on it, and we're delivering connectivity to these different devices out there. And that's what a network does, is it delivers connectivity to all of these end devices. But there's also another type of network here. So between all of these, we have interconnections between all of these. And I can circle all of them here. You can see that there's quite a few. So when you add these all up, we have a total of 31 networks here. So we have 31 networks within this big corporate network. And so just understanding the difference with that. And for each one of these, we're going to have we've talked about having a network address. So each one of these will have a network address. Each one of these will have a broadcast address to it, and then a usable host range. And some of them are not going to need that many, such as we've got 45 here or 14, and others are going to need a lot of usable hosts. Like this one has a 1,351. There's actually these links right here. Possibly we just need two, one for each side of this connection here. So there's going to be times when we just need two usable IP addresses and times when we need a large quantity of these IP addresses. I had mentioned this in one of my earlier videos, but I'm just going to call it out again between a layer 2 and a layer 3 network. Now we haven't gone over the OSI model and what is the difference between layer 2 and layer 3, but a lot of it is just how things communicate. So from a layer 2 perspective, it's considered your local area network, or at least from an Ethernet standpoint, it's considered your local area network. And that is just devices that are on the same network that are communicating. And there's a set of equipment that helps that communication happen. Generally it's switches, but there are other communication devices that happen at layer 2 as well. Versus layer 3 are these connections, are these devices right here. So these are layer 3 devices. These happen to be routers right here. There are other devices that are layer 3 devices, but in our example here, we just have routers that are interconnecting all of these different devices here. So this is layer 3. And so within this, when we're talking about networking, we're really talking when we're doing IP addresses and when we're doing subnetting and when we're doing all of this, we're really talking about that layer 2 network here, which is, I circled it in my last slide, but it'd be all of these where the end users are at, and then these links between these layer 3 networks. And once again, the communication could be a little different. Like Ethernet could be on these LANs here versus there could be some other type of connection that goes between these devices. And so there's a lot of options, and it gives a lot of flexibility, and really that's a big part of the OSI model, is to break things down into different layers to give flexibility and be able to develop things at a layer level without affecting the other layers. So this course doesn't really get too much in the OSI model, but I just wanted to introduce those terms and give you some context as we move forward. And then once again, we're going to be using this for applying through our different steps, through our different modules, applying what we learn to what you'd actually see when you get out there.